It's early morning. The sun filters gently through your window, painting soft golden streaks on the floor. The house is quiet, just the ticking of the clock, the hum of life slowly stirring. You shift in bed, hoping to rise with ease. But there it is again. That familiar stiffness. The knees that used to carry you up hills now feel like rusted hinges. Your back whispers, not in pain, but in protest. A reminder that time has settled deep into your joints. You sit on the edge of the bed, rubbing your hands together, feeling the knots in your fingers. You remember mornings long ago? How quickly your body used to rise and move. How light you once felt. You didn't have to think about which foods helped or hurt, or whether something on your plate might linger in your gut like a bad decision. But now, everything feels different, even the smallest things. What you eat, when you eat, how it digests, seem to echo louder in your body. And maybe, just maybe, you've started to notice what others around you are going through too. You've seen friends lose energy, struggle with bloating, weight they can't seem to shed, or mysterious aches that just won't leave. You've seen some fade into a quieter life, not out of choice, but because they didn't know how to fight back. And if you're honest, there's a part of you that wonders, am I heading that way too? Have you ever paused and asked yourself, how do I want to age? Not just exist, not just survive, but truly live. With dignity, with clarity, with joy. You see, the truth is, aging doesn't mean fading. It doesn't mean giving up your freedom, your strength, or your spark. But it does mean listening closer to your body, to your habits, to the choices that shape your days. And one of the most powerful, overlooked choices, what you combine on your plate. Yes, something as simple as food pairing. What you eat together can either ignite energy and ease in your body or quietly wear it down, meal after meal. There are 3 common food combinations that people over 60 often make, innocently, unknowingly, that can slow digestion, inflame joints, disturb sleep, and even strain the heart. Today, you're going to learn what those combinations are, not to restrict, but to liberate. Not to fear food, but to understand it, with wisdom and gentleness. Because your body is still listening, and it's capable of healing. This isn't about perfection. It's about awareness. And the beauty of awareness is, it brings choice. It brings hope. So take a deep breath. You're about to learn something that could quietly change your days. And maybe give your mornings back to you. You've lived through decades of change. You've watched the world shift, technology rise, and your family grow. You've weathered life's storms with quiet strength. And yet, when it comes to your body, there are days it feels like you're losing ground. Maybe your digestion isn't what it used to be. Meals that once left you energized now leave you sluggish. You find yourself tired after eating or struggling with heartburn, swelling in your joints, or nights interrupted by discomfort. You chalk it up to aging. But what if it's not just age? What if it's something else? Something simpler and more fixable. Something as simple as what foods you're eating together. You see, as we grow older, the body becomes more sensitive to what we put into it, and especially to how we combine our meals. After 60, our digestive fire burns lower. Our metabolism slows. Hormonal shifts affect everything from our muscle tone to our memory. And what we once digested with ease can now cause trouble. Not because of the food alone, but because of how it's paired. This matters more than you might think, because when the body doesn't digest well, toxins build up. Inflammation quietly rises. Nutrients are poorly absorbed. Over time, this leads to fatigue, stiffness, brain fog, irritability, even anxiety and mood swings. And worse, left unchecked, it can steal something far more precious, your independence. Think about it. When energy declines, you go out less. You move less. You stop meeting friends, stop walking to the store, Stop doing the little things that once gave your days color. Isolation sets in, not always from loneliness, but from physical limitation. And with isolation comes faster decline. But it doesn't have to be that way. What if you could make a small informed change right on your plate that supports your digestion, reduces inflammation, and lifts that invisible fog you've been living under? What if the answer wasn't in more medication or another appointment, but in understanding the hidden mistake so many seniors make at mealtime? Today, you'll learn about 3 common food combinations that many people over 60 eat every day. Combinations that may seem harmless, even healthy, but which quietly tax the body and slow healing. This isn't about restriction. It's not about giving up the foods you love. It's about timing, pairing, and understanding. It's about getting back into harmony with the way your body works now. Not the way it used to, not the way it did when you were 30, but now in this chapter of life. Because healing doesn't have to be complicated, and you don't have to do it all at once. You just need the right knowledge, shared with care, and the willingness to take back control. One meal, one moment, one day at a time. And that is exactly what we're about to do. Let's pause for a moment. Close your eyes just for a second and picture a younger version of yourself. Maybe you're in your 40s, maybe your 50s. You're walking through the kitchen, barefoot, steady. You make your breakfast without thinking twice. You eat and go about your day with ease. No gas, no bloating, no aching joints by afternoon. Food gave you fuel back then. It worked with your body, not against it. But somewhere along the way, things began to shift. You may not have noticed it at first. A little more tired after meals, a little less regular. A stiffness that crept in without asking. Maybe you just thought, this is how it goes, I'm getting older. But what if you were wrong? What if that tiredness wasn't from age, but from something your body is struggling to process? What if that morning stiffness wasn't inevitable, but a sign that something deep inside is asking for help? What if your kitchen, yes, your kitchen, holds the key not just to feeling full, but to feeling well? You see, we've been taught to believe that aging is a slow unraveling, that aches and pains, forgetfulness, even the slowing down of life, are all just part of the deal. But the truth is more hopeful than that. Many of the symptoms we blame on aging aren't just about getting older. They're about inflammation, improper digestion, and nutrient loss, much of which is triggered not by what we eat, but how we combine it. Think about this. If you put the wrong kind of fuel in a car, even the most well-built, beautifully maintained car, it will sputter, stall, and struggle. It's not because the car is broken. It's because the fuel isn't right for the engine. Your body is no different. And as you grow older, your engine changes. Your digestion slows. Enzymes aren't as strong. Stomach acid decreases. What worked well in your 40s or 50s might now be overwhelming your gut, leading to bloating, fatigue, even inflammation that seeps into your joints and clouds your mind. But here's the beautiful part. You can adjust. Gently, wisely, naturally. You can learn which foods, when eaten together, cause strain, and which pairings unlock better energy, better sleep, even better moods. You can stop thinking of meals as just something to get through the day, and start seeing them as quiet medicine. So here's where we begin. In just a moment, you're going to discover 3 of the most common food combinations that people over 60 eat regularly. Combinations that seem harmless, but may be silently making your body work harder than it should. These combinations aren't based on myth or fads. They're rooted in how the aging body processes food, and how a few small changes can make a profound difference. Because you deserve to feel light again. You deserve mornings that begin with energy, not stiffness, and it may start with something as simple as what's on your plate. Are you ready? Let's begin. Let's begin with a truth that many people overlook, especially after 70. Your body is still talking to you. Every single day, not with words, but with subtle signs. How your joints feel in the morning, how deeply you sleep at night, how your mind focuses or drifts. These aren't just the symptoms of old age. They're part of a quiet conversation your body is trying to have with you. A conversation about nutrition. Because food isn't just fuel, it's information. It tells your cells what to do. It tells your hormones how to behave. It tells your brain whether to stay alert or shut down for a nap after lunch. And after 70, that conversation becomes even more important. Imagine your body like an old, beautiful house. The walls still stand strong, the windows still let in light, but now it creaks a little more. The plumbing needs gentler care. The foundation needs protection. That house doesn't need to be torn down. It needs maintenance. Loving, mindful maintenance. And nutrition is the toolbox. Here's the part that's easy to miss. At this stage in life, it's not just about what you eat. It's about what your body can absorb. Because even the most nutritious meal won't help if your digestive system can't break it down properly. One woman, let's call her Eleanor, found this out the hard way. At 74, Eleanor was eating well. Or so she thought. Lots of fruits, whole grains, protein-rich meals. But she still felt tired, still battled brain fog, still woke up achy. When she met with a nutritionist, they discovered something surprising. Her food combinations were working against her digestion. She was eating fruit with her meals, causing fermentation in her gut. She was mixing heavy proteins with starchy carbs, which slowed her digestion and left her bloated. She was eating healthy, but not smartly. Within weeks of adjusting how she paired her meals, separating fruit from main courses, simplifying her food combinations, Eleanor felt lighter, clearer. She began walking every morning again. She laughed more. She even took up gardening, something she hadn't done in years. The food didn't change, the combinations did. Have you ever felt like Eleanor? Like you're doing the right things, but still not getting the results you want? Like your body is slowing down, even though you're trying to take care of it? That's not failure. That's a sign that something deeper needs to be heard. And it starts with listening to your body's quiet language. Because after 70, every bite matters a little more. Not in a stressful way, not in a restrictive way, but in a respectful way. You've carried this body through decades. You've earned the right to nourish it with wisdom. And that's what we're doing now, together. In the next section, you'll discover the first major food combination mistake, a pairing many seniors eat every day, not realizing how much it taxes their digestion and saps their energy. But first, take a deep breath. You're not behind. You're right on time. Now let's turn inward, quite literally, because deep inside your belly, something remarkable is happening every second of every day. A world of tiny life forms, bacteria, enzymes, microbes, are working around the clock to keep you going. This is your gut, and it's not just about digestion. It's your second brain, your silent powerhouse, your emotional thermostat, and after 60, it becomes even more delicate. Have you ever walked into a room and forgotten why you came? Have you had days where your body feels puffy, your joints ache, and you just feel off? Have you ever woken up in the middle of the night, thoughts racing, heart a little unsettled, for no clear reason? What if I told you that much of this might not start in your head, but in your gut? That's what happened to Robert. At 78, Robert was sharp. He'd been a high school teacher, a crossword master, and the go-to guy in his community for historical trivia. But something began to change. The words came slower. He struggled to recall names. He felt foggy after lunch, sometimes dizzy after dinner. He thought it was just aging. But when he saw a specialist, the results were stunning. His gut health was deeply out of balance. Years of unknowingly combining the wrong foods, like dairy and citrus, heavy meats with starches, had created a sluggish, inflamed digestive system. The gut bacteria that once protected his brain and joints were no longer thriving. And here's what the doctor said that changed everything. Your brain is inflamed because your gut is inflamed. Robert made changes, not extreme ones, simple ones. He started separating his proteins and starches. He stopped eating fruit with his meals and saved it for light, midday snacks. He began sipping ginger tea after dinner instead of coffee. And slowly, the fog lifted. His mind cleared. His joints felt less swollen. Even his mood stabilized. He felt less anxious, more in control. Have you noticed how your body responds when you feel truly at peace? Not just emotionally, but physically? There's a reason. The gut and brain are deeply connected. When your gut is calm, your mind is too. When your gut is overwhelmed by hard-to-digest combinations, your whole system pays the price. This is why food combinations matter. Not just for digestion, but for your memory, your sleep, your mood, even your ability to enjoy the day. You deserve that ease, that clarity, that sense of, I'm okay, I feel like myself again. And it starts by feeding your gut the way it wants to be fed, not like you used to, but like you need to now. Next, we'll explore the first of those food combinations that often go unnoticed, but could be quietly causing chaos inside you. You're not alone in this. And you're not too late to feel better. Let's keep going. Let's talk about something that doesn't require a doctor's appointment, a special diet, or a trip to the pharmacy. Let's talk about the power of small daily choices. Because sometimes when we talk about aging well, it sounds like a mountain you're suddenly expected to climb. Change your whole diet. Join a gym. Meditate for an hour. It's overwhelming. And honestly, most of it doesn't fit real life. Your life. But here's the truth. Your body doesn't need perfection. It needs consistency, kindness, and a few thoughtful routines that tell it, you're still cared for. You're still important. Take mornings, for example. What if the first 5 minutes of your day weren't rushed or stiff, but calming, centering, and gently energizing? Meet Dolores, 76. She used to wake up groggy and achy. The first 20 minutes were always the hardest, but one day her granddaughter gave her a simple suggestion. Grandma, before you even get out of bed, wiggle your fingers and toes. Then stretch like a cat. That small shift changed everything. Now Dolores starts each morning by gently stretching in bed, then slowly rising and sipping warm lemon water. Just warm water and a squeeze of lemon, not for weight loss, not for a trend, but because it wakes up her digestion and helps her feel fresh. She walks slowly to the window, opens the curtain, and breathes. 3 tiny changes. No stress, no cost, but her balance improved. Her digestion got smoother. Her mornings became something she looked forward to again. It's the same with food. You don't need to throw away everything in your kitchen. Just begin to notice how certain combinations make you feel. Maybe avoid fruit right after a heavy meal. Maybe try eating your protein and vegetables first, saving starchy sides for later, or skipping them altogether now and then. These small shifts allow your body to digest more easily, to breathe a little easier inside, and you feel that ease in your energy, in your joints, in your peace of mind. Because what this really comes down to is care. The way you start your day, the way you build your plate, the way you talk to yourself. You've already done the hard work of living. Now it's time to live well. So, let me ask you something. What's one small change you could try this week? Just one. A stretch. A warm drink. A gentler breakfast. That one shift could be the beginning of everything. And next, we'll dive into something powerful, the actual food combinations you should avoid after 60, especially if you want to protect your digestion, your energy, and your heart. You're doing beautifully. Let's keep going. Gently, together. There's something we don't talk about enough when we speak of aging. It's not your bones, your blood pressure, or your digestion. It's your spirit. Because after 70, health isn't just about food or movement. It's about how you feel in the quiet moments, when no one's around, when the house is still and the light filters through the curtains, soft and golden. That's when the real questions rise. Am I still needed? Is there more for me to do? Have I lost something I didn't even notice slipping away? The truth is, your soul, just like your body, needs nourishment, not from vitamins, but from meaning, from beauty, from connection, and from the simplest acts of care, like stepping into the garden in the morning and noticing the dew on the leaves, or sitting quietly with a hand on your heart and breathing as if to say, I'm still here, and that matters. That's what happened to Marjorie. She was 83 when she lost her husband. They'd been together 59 years. The days after were quiet, painfully quiet. She stopped cooking, stopped walking, stopped answering the phone. She said food didn't taste the same. Sleep didn't come the same. Then one afternoon, she sat under the old oak tree in her backyard. She remembered how her husband used to read there every evening. The breeze brushed her cheek, and for the first time in months, she didn't cry. She just sat and breathed. The next day, she went out again. And again. She brought a chair, a journal. Eventually, a neighbor who walked by joined her. They talked, shared stories, laughed even. Then one day, Marjorie cooked again. Not because she had to, but because she wanted to. She made lentil soup and sliced apples with cinnamon. And when she ate, she said she could taste the warmth, not just of the food, but of life again. She found peace not by doing everything right, but by doing one thing differently. She opened herself to life again. Your health is tied to that same spirit, to feeling connected, to feeling useful, to letting go of fear and letting in joy, even if just a sliver at first. Maybe it's a walk to the mailbox. Maybe it's writing a letter. Maybe it's planting something, anything, and watching it grow. So now I ask you gently, what do you want the next chapter of your life to feel like? Because you're still writing it. And it can be peaceful. It can be strong. It can even be radiant. You are not done. Take a slow, deep breath with me. You've made it to this moment. Not just in this video, but in life. Through the decades, through the losses and the triumphs, through every morning that hurt a little more to get out of bed, through every birthday that whispered, you're not as strong as you once were. But now something deeper is stirring, because today you remembered something powerful. Your body is still listening, your spirit is still reaching, and you are still becoming. We've talked about the choices that shape your days, the food combinations that help or harm, the quiet routines that return energy to your bones, the people and places that help your soul feel at home again. And through all of it, there's one truth that echoes louder than the rest. You are not too old, you are not too late, and you are not finished. It doesn't matter what you didn't know before. It doesn't matter what you didn't do yesterday. All that matters is now, this breath, this choice, this new beginning. Because your journey toward health isn't about rules, it's about relationship. With your body, with your food, with your own quiet strength that's been waiting for you to notice it again. So take this with you. If you feel tired, let it be a signal, not of defeat, but of where care is most needed. If you feel aches, let them remind you to move gently, not stop completely. If you feel alone, know this. You are being seen right now by someone who believes you still matter deeply. And if you've watched this far, that tells me everything I need to know. It tells me you're not giving up. It tells me you're still in this. It tells me that somewhere inside, you still believe in a better tomorrow. So let's begin. Slowly. Lovingly. One small step. One better choice. One moment of saying, yes, I still care. And from here, everything can change. Not overnight, but with time and tenderness and trust in your own beautiful process. This is your time. Not to rush, not to fix everything at once, but to start, even if it's slow, even if it's just a breath, a stretch, a thought, because every small step is still yours. And that, my friend, is enough. Now that we've walked this path together, I want to pause and turn the spotlight on you. What is the one idea today that stirred something deep inside you? Maybe it was a new way of thinking about food and how it affects your energy. Or perhaps it was the reminder that even small shifts hold great power. Or maybe it was the gentle encouragement to care for your spirit just as much as your body. Whatever it was, hold on to it for a moment. Breathe into it. Let it settle like a seed waiting to grow. And then ask yourself, what's one small change I could try starting tomorrow morning? Is it a different breakfast, a gentle stretch, or simply pausing to listen to your body before the day rushes in? You don't have to figure it all out today. Just the next step, the next breath. Because that's where real transformation begins, right here in the quiet choices we make over time. And here's something else to remember. You are not alone in this journey. This channel, this community, is a place where stories are shared, where wisdom flows from one heart to another, where support isn't just a word, it's a living, breathing presence. So, if you feel called, I warmly invite you to join the conversation. Share your thoughts below. Tell us about your small wins or your questions. Tag a friend who might need this gentle reminder that it's never too late to care for themselves. And if what you heard today touched you, if it gave you hope or comfort, please consider subscribing. Because here, we walk this path together, with respect, kindness, and a shared commitment to living well. You've taken a brave step by being here today. Be proud of that. Your health, your joy, your peace, they matter. And every day is a new chance to nurture them. Thank you for trusting me with your time and your story. I look forward to being with you on this journey, one small step at a time.